Hello everyone, I am Reshma Totare, working as Assistant Professor in Information Technology Department. In today's session, we will discuss about file transfer protocol, client and server communication. The FTP client and server, which runs on different computer, must communicate with each other. These two computers may use different operating system, different character sets, different file structure and different file formats. FTP must make this heterogeneity compatible. FTP has two different approaches, one for control connections and the other one is for data connection. First, we will discuss about communication over the control connection. FTP uses same approach as Telnet and SMTP to communicate across the control connection. It uses the NVT ASCII character sets. Communication is achieved through commands and responses. This simple method is adequate for the control connections because we send one command or one response at a time. Each command or response is only one short line, so we need not worry about the file format or file structure. Each line is terminated with two characters, carriage return and line feed, end of the line token. Now we'll see communication over the data connection. The purpose and implementation of data connection are different from that of the control connection. We want to transfer files through the data connections. The client must define the type of file to be transferred, the structure of the data and the transmission mode. Before sending the file through the data connection, we prepare the transmission through the control connection. The heterogeneity problem resolved by defining three attributes of communication. First, file type, second, data structure and the third, transmission mode. We will see file types across the data connection. ASCII files, EBCD, IC file and image file. First, we will see ASCII file. This is a default file format for transferring text file. Each character is encoded using NVT ASCII. The sender transforms the file from the own representation into NVT ASCII characters and receiver transforms the NVT ASCII characters to its own representation. Second type, EBCD IC file. If one or both ends of the connection use EBCD IC encoding, the file can be transferred using EBCD IC encoding. Third type, image file. This is one of the default format for transferring binary file. The file is sent as continuous streams of bits without any interpretation or encoding. This is mostly used to transfer binary file such as compiled program. If the file is encoded in ASCII or EBCD IC, another attribute must be added to define the printability of a file. The first one is a non-print. This is the default format for transferring text file. The file contains no vertical specification for printing. This means that the file cannot be printed without further processing because there are no characters to be interpreted for vertical movement of the print head. This format is used for file that will be stored and processed later. Second one is a telnet. In this format, the file contains NVT ASCII vertical character such as carriage return, line feed, new line, vertical tab. The file is printable after transfer. Now we'll see data structure across the data connections. The FTP can transfer a file across the data connection using one of the following interpretation about the structure of the file. First one is a file structure. Second, record structure. Third, page structure. File structure. The file has no structure. It is a continuous stream of bytes. Record structure. The file is divided into records. This can be used only with the text file. Third, page structure. The file is divided into pages with each page having a page number and page header. The page can be stored and accessed randomly or sequentially. Now we will see transmission mode across the data connection. FTP can transfer a file across the data connection using the three transmission modes. Using any one of the transmission mode. First one, stream mode. This is the default mode data can be delivered from FTP to TCP as a continuous stream of byte. TCP is responsible for chopping data into segments of appropriate size. If the data is simply a stream of byte, no end of file is needed. End of file in this case is closing of data connection by the sender. If the data is divided into record, each record will have 1 byte end of record character, and the end of a file will have 1 byte end of a file character. Second one, block mode. Data can be delivered from FTP to TCP into blocks. In this case, each block is preceded by 3 byte header. The first byte is called block descriptor, and the next 2 bytes define the size of the block in bytes. Third, compressed mode. If the file is big, the data can be compressed. The compression method normally used is run length encoding. In this method, consecutive appearance of data unit are replaced by one occurrence and the number of repetitions. In a text file, this is usually spaces. In binary file, null characters are usually compressed. Thank you.